from 6 to 13 age group, we send them to the TCB schools for education. And from 14 to 17 years, we have another school about 3 hours journey from here. There's Bir school, we send them to that school for further education. And the age group 18 to 30, we have a transit school nearby in Dharamsala.
The most important part of education of any country is they should really understand from which country they belong to. And at the same time, the culture of that country is very important. Every Tibetan must have in his or her mind that others are before them, and one should be ready to share or give up what he or she is having if you will find someone who is a little less than you. There are some schools where these subjects are taught. History is also taught, Tibetan history and Tibetan culture is taught. And those are the schools where so many outsiders, foreigners, they used to come and watch. And so the Chinese aim is to tell these people that they are doing all the best things for the Tibetans. And these few people who used to come over there only once or twice, they think, okay, Chinese are doing so, very good for the Tibetans, and still these Tibetans are shouting, Everyone whosoever is in this world who are taking interest in the Tibetan and the Chinese relationship or the condition, they should go and they should look at every corner. They shouldn't go only those places where the Chinese guides will take them.
And how did you get to India?
Over very large mountains and rivers.
Yeah? You had to walk
Yes.
when you were 3 years old.
Yes.
And your friend?
He walks on the rivers and mountains. Chinese armies beat him.
How did he get here to Tibet?
I don't understand mountains and rivers. Alone.
Walking
Yes.
alone. Anybody else in group?
No.
All by himself. For how long?
1 month.
1 month, all alone.
Yes.
Did you have any money?
In the pesha, yes. No.
No money. How did you eat? How did you survive? Did you bring food?
Finish his food.
Education is a precondition to exercise one's human rights. Many of the students have been discriminated against. Many of them have been, unable to continue with their education because of the prohibitively high school fees. The Chinese are now targeting these Tibetan children in different schools so that they can indoctrinate them with the, so-called the communist socialist ideas, and deny them the, education of Tibetan history, Tibetan culture, Tibetan tradition, etc. So the Chinese government's policy is to brainwash the upcoming Tibetan generation and integrate, completely the next generation of Tibetans into the Chinese mainstream.
Education in Tibet is very, very expensive. and parents find it very, very difficult to afford to pay the fees. One child in particular said probably his parents earn about 150 yuans a month, and the school fee is about 120. So the choice is to send a child to, if he sends his child to school, probably the family won't eat.
Tenzing, what is your favourite school subject?
Maths.
Maths? What's her favourite subject?
Maths. 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 Maths.
Maths. Everyone likes maths.
Yes. Tibet. Tibetan.
Tibetan. History?
Yes.
There's a lot of discrimination between the Tibetan child studying in Tibet in a Tibetan school and the Chinese studying in Tibet. And that discrimination is very, very clear. Okay, for example, they're discouraged to do well in the sense, oh, you're a Tibetan, you have no future, why do you study so hard? Or, you Tibetans are barbaric, or you are inferior, this is not for you. And so they are always discouraged in the classroom to develop the best of their academic and potentials.
Did he like school in Tibet?
No.
No? Why not?
Chinese beat.
He beat you?
Yes.
What did they do?
Help for him.
The children have said that they've been beaten because they were Tibetan. They've been discouraged to do better because they were Tibetan. And some of them, if a Chinese student and a Tibetan student made the same mistake in the class, okay, the Tibetan child was kicked, made to stand on his bare knees for about 3-4 hours. This is sometimes they break a piece of glass and make the children kneel on those. So that is basically to hurt, I think, physically to hurt the children. And my own feeling is, if people try to physically hurt somebody, then spiritually and internally these children become very, very tough. And so those children who have come here with these backgrounds are generally people who have come here with a very, very strong desire to do well, strong desire to study hard. And they're saying, okay, this is what I faced in my own country. Now here's an opportunity where there's no discrimination. Here's an opportunity for me to study. I must study hard so that I can return back to my own country and prove to the Chinese that I'm not inferior.
The Dalai Lama's Central Tibetan Administration ensures that every child is given a place in a school. There are at least 85 schools in India, Nepal and Bhutan with a current enrolment of over 32,000 students. The children who have attended these schools are the first in Tibet's history to have a multilingual education. After spending anywhere from a week to a month in the Tibetan Refugee Reception Centre, the newly arrived children are sent to a school about 3 hours away by road in a tiny village called Bia. Loaded onto buses and crammed into the back of trucks, many have minimal possessions to take with them, just the belief and hunger for a new and proper education and a life free of persecution.
This school is, of course, slightly different than other Tibetan villages because the children who are in our school is 100% the new arrivals from Tibet. Right now we have 1,256 children under our care, and we are looking more children because since there's a lot of children coming from Tibet. What they have heard and what they have heard in Tibet and what the Chinese have been taught was totally different than what they have seen it here in outside Tibet.
Yeah.
Because when they've seen the school here and the system running the school, the facilities they get, how the teachers teaching them, that's totally different than what they have heard in Tibet. Because Chinese, they have been telling them something different than what they have seen it here yet.
Yeah.
So they are 100% satisfied.
Energy flow la na khare dusri energy flow singnam ke what is food chain Pasan Sri, can you give me an example of food chain?
So she says, when they happen, they demonstrate against the Chinese. So 12 of their group has been caught, and then they met a term like the imprisonment term is for 2.5 years and 1 year and so on. But then luckily, because she being the youngest of those, she haven't got much beating, but others got lots of beating. And then when they have been arrested, then each one was put in a different cell. They are very much isolated from each other.
Yeah.
It is very important not to make the Chinese known about him because of the fact that the whole village was tortured by the Chinese. Every family in the village, the Chinese will come and drop these people to, do some construction on the road or whatever the Chinese have, Even the children, those who are above 11 years, just like a cattle, the Chinese will tell, okay, today you go this, do that, and then everyone has to go according to that.